Debates over electric utility rates are rising on two fronts. In Tallahassee, the Florida Power and Light is defending its proposed rate increase of $9.8 billion over the next 4 years. They argue the funds are necessary to strengthen infrastructure, but critics contend it would lead to unaffordable rates for residents. FP&L's rate proposal includes a nearly 11% profit return for its shareholders. If approved by state regulators, it would be the highest rate of return of any U.S. utility. And in Clearwater, Duke Energy is facing down the city's push toward municipal power. A study by New Gen Strategies and Solutions shows electric bills could be 7 to 18% lower than Duke Energy's rates. Duke disputes these findings and estimates that the cost of transitioning to be at more than $1 billion. City leaders, though, are moving forward with the feasibility study. Clearwater's 30-year agreement with Duke will end in December. And now we want to start the conversation with our panelists. I'd like to start with you, Pam. You had a conversation with the mayor of Clearwater. How are they looking at all of this now?
Well, they are doing the feasibility study, and as you just stated, the contract is ending December 31st, and after doing the feasibility study, they're saying that having it publicly owned instead of having private investment, that there's a 10% discount off the top, from what they're seeing so far. So this is something that I think is going to move forward. This is the Clearwater Gas Company. Clearwater Gas has been publicly owned for over 100 years, and it's worked for where gas distribution is concerned. And of course, Clearwater would not be in the actual energy production, but the distribution. That would certainly help to save money.
Victor, do you think that more municipalities will start looking at having municipal-owned utility companies?
I don't know. The big difference between the city owned, when I lived in Tallahassee, when I worked for Governor Graham, the city of Tallahassee owned the electric utility at the time, so I paid the city. And the big difference is, do you have a for-profit company that has to make a profit, for their shareholders, or does the city own it where they can return the money to the people who live there? And that's where that 10% difference comes from. Right. However, you have to consider the current person who has the contract isn't going to go away lightly. Now the city can use eminent domain to take control of the lights, the power, generators, transformers, all that stuff. They could do that. It would be a ugly, long, expensive legal battle, and then the city would have to literally either take their equipment or start from scratch. And it's not, $1 billion is probably conservative, because now they could do a bond to pay for all that, but
the cost of transitioning all the infrastructure, so that would be the responsibility
that they're doing now
of the
is going to discuss all that stuff, and that's what they're going to have to figure out and decide which way is going to be best for them.
Jackie, from the consumer aspect, a lot of folks don't understand the power in those Public Service Commission hearings. Right. Explain what protections do consumers have at this point with what's going on with the request for a rate hike?
In general, anytime a utility asks for more money, there are open hearings, and they welcome public input. The 2-week hearing that is going on right now in Tallahassee, as I understand it, is closed to public input, but what you can do is you can write the Public Service Commission, and they actually read and take these comments into consideration. Let's talk about how do you save money right now on your bill. Right now for people, because I'm going into conversations where people are just coming off their August bills. They've never had a $500 power bill, and they do now. And this is with various entities, not just one. There are different programs that each utility has, whether it's a hardship program where they may help you cover the cost of a partial bill depending on your income. You can do balance billing where your bill is the same every month. You may have a little overage at the end, but at least you're not going to be a $500 bill in July or August. So there's a lot of things people can do on their own. One other thing I would say is that you can contact your utility no matter who it is, and you can say, hey, could I get one of those free energy audits? A lot of times they will send someone to your house for free, walk around your house and explain or give you ideas of a couple of ways that you could shore up your house that are not terribly expensive to lower your bills.
Jonathan, you were talking earlier about the changes that we've seen in terms of efficiencies and how that impacts the utility companies.
So new utilities, new appliances have better electrical efficiency. I think that there need to be more incentives by electric companies to move to more energy efficient units, air conditioning, added insulation in your house. And you're right, those energy audits are very, very beneficial. I'm all for transparency with regards to profits, but electrical costs are going up. The hurricanes cost a lot of money to improve the system. We want all of our power lines underground wherever possible to protect from any of the wind storms or the water storms. I'm on the fence here.
Right.
Well, there's two big points that I have to mention. The Florida Power and Light has the highest profit margin shareholder
That's not right.
Of any company, and they're asking for of any company in the nation, and they're asking for a $10 billion rate increase. Now in Florida, we have an office of the public counsel who argues for us, the users, and she's argued for half that amount. She says, well, maybe $5 billion over the span of 10 years is what the public counsel, who has a lot more data than any of us here, wants. So there's a difference between $10 billion and $5 billion of what they're asking for and what the person who defends us feels like they should get.
Consumers have to analyze the realities and the facts and then decide what they're willing to give up.
Those appliances are more expensive, and that's where incentives from the electric company, maybe they could use some of that $10 billion to incentivize homeowners, business owners to move towards more energy efficient use.